Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to wherever you're at in the world. It's great to have you guys here. This is Viper Strike 95 Flight Simulation, and today we are doing another installment of the City Tour series. And today we'll be heading back from Salt Lake City to the capital of Georgia, one of the crown jewels of the American South. Yes, we're going to be touring the city of Atlanta, Georgia. This iconic American city was known for many things, being a major railroad town in the 1800s. In the 1900s, it was known for being the main epicenter of the American Civil Rights movement. And in the 21st century, Atlanta is now known for the 21st century as being one of the most diverse metropolitan areas in the entire country. So it's great to have all you guys here. Hello there, Costella. Great to have you here in chat. I hope you're doing great. So let's go over for today's flight plan. Today we're going over quite a really cool flight plan. So we'll be exploring around Atlanta and the metropolitan area around it, of course. So let's explore this area for a bit. Oh, don't put the slideshow. We're going to go to um, talk about this area in particular. Let's go over each of the areas we're going to be mentioning on today's stream. So we're going to go ahead and start from Whispering Pines Airport, Golf Alpha 880. Then from there, we're going to visit the most well-known tourist attraction in Georgia, Stone Mountain Park. And mind you, this park also is known for being quite controversial, and you'll probably figure out what I'm talking about. Then from Stone Mountain, we're going to be visiting Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International. Recently now been a handcrafted airport since World Update 2. But we're going to be visiting the world's busiest airport. This includes seeing all the old Delta hangars and all that sort of stuff. Then right around the outlooks is Delta Flight Museum. This talks about all about the history of Delta Airlines. Then from here, we're going to be visiting the Delta World HQ, the HQ of Delta. Delta, by the way, is Atlanta's biggest employer. Then from here, we're going to travel upwards. We're going to visit Zoo Atlanta, one of the only few zoos on the planet to actually, in the US, I mean, to actually have the giant panda. Then from there, we'll visit Center Park Credit Union Station. This stadium has a long, interesting history, not just with American football, but much more. Then we're going to visit the Georgia State Capitol. Then we're going to visit the campus of Georgia State University, the largest university in the state. Then we're going to visit Woodruff Park, and then we're going to be visiting Mercedes-Benz Stadium as the home of the Atlanta Falcons and Atlanta United. Visit the Georgia World Congress Center, their main convention center. Then visit State Farm Arena. Then we go visit the CNN studio, the main studio for CNN. Then we're going to visit Skyview Atlanta. Then visit the Chick-fil-A Football Hall of Fame, Centennial Olympic Park, the Georgia Aquarium, the National Center of Civil Human Rights, the World of Coca-Cola, which is all about Coca-Cola, Atlanta's most famous product. Then we're going to visit the National Historical Park of Martin Luther King, including his birth home. And for guys who don't know, he is the most famous American civil rights activist of the 1960s. He was the one most people know of. Then the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library Museum. Then we're going to visit the famous Fox Theater. Then we're going to visit the Georgia Institute of Technology, aka Georgia Tech. Then from there, we'll be going up across, visit the metropolitan area. We're going to visit Truist Park, home of the Atlanta Braves, the current home. Then fly over Dobbins Air Reserve Base, get into Marietta, and then fly our way to Kennesaw State University and make our final stop at Kilo Romeo Yankee Yankee at Cobb County International McCollum Field. So it's gonna be a little bit of a longer one, but this one's got lots of stuff packed into it. So of course we're gonna have to get back to our ultralight here, a little cute little ultralight. So we're gonna get back to our cute little ultralight. Of course the Aerolite 103. I mean, it's a great performer. It's stable. It's stable. It can go quite fast when we need to. We're gonna go ahead and open up our tank. It would be nice and full. We just need to get just gotta get the engine started. It's pretty easy. Now, if you guys want to join me, I'm on East USA. The route is in the description of the video, but here's the command for the route, by the way. So if you're all more than welcome to join in and fly along with me, that would be fantastic. I recommend if you have one of the ultralights, like the, if you already, if you have one of these little ultralights, that is amazing. That would be an amazing thing to have for today's flight. But if you don't have any of that, I recommend taking the Shock Ultra or the Aerolite or the Savage Cub. Both of those stall at pretty low speeds. Hey friends all, be careful of the raid of the Air Force Base Tower before flight, make it shut down. Hey friends all, good to have you here. So it's great to have you here, friends all. So we're going to be going, I'm doing quite well. Yeah, we're going to visit Dobbins. That's going to be pretty big. So I got the slideshow out here today. So this is Atlanta, Georgia. So that is going to be, so there's Stone Mountain. Now, you can't miss this one. This is Stone Mountain right in front of us. So I hope you're doing well. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick flyby as everyone's trying to get, I mean, look at this. It's right in the middle of the trees. I mean, there's so many trees here. So this is, so let's go over the, let's talk about Stone Mountain for a bit. So, Stone Mountain, for those who don't know, it's actually a monazite, dome monodock. It's the site of Stone Mountain Park. It's 16 miles east of Atlanta, Georgia. It's, outside of the park is actually a town known as, Stone Mountain, Georgia. It is actually the most visited tourist site in the entire state of Georgia, believe it or not. More people will actually visit this area than any other place in Georgia. The mountain itself is actually made of quartz monzonite. It was formed during the formation of the Blue Ridge Mountains around 300 to 350 million years ago. And apparently the bottom of it continues 9 miles underground. This place is home to quite a few major plants of flora, including the rare Georgia oak and the Confederate yellow daisy are found here in the mountain. And it also has some other rare and federally protected species. However, the thing about this mountain is, in fact, this mountain has a pretty unique thing that people know about. So, in the mountain, there's a rock relief on the northern face of it. Now, it's the longest bas relief artwork in the world. Now, I want to ask you this. Let me tell you that it's actually quite controversial, and I know a lot of you have been thinking, Viper, why is it so controversial? Well, you see, back in the 1890s, in 1972, the carving they did, it actually depicted 3 leaders of the Confederacy of America. That being the Confederate States, being Jefferson Davis, Robert E. Lee, and Stonewall Jackson. Now, the reason this was controversial was because the carving actually was involved by, as a memorial to the Confederacy. And that's a big deal because, you know, the Civil War, despite being happened over 100 years ago, about 150 years ago, is still very much felt into modern American society even to this day. And especially in most recent years, with the Charleston church shooting and the George Floyd protests and the United Rights, people have been wanting this thing to be removed, but it's carved inside the mountain. Unless you want to tear down the entire thing, it's just... that is a major issue. Now, during the 1996 Olympics, it was used as a venue for tennis, archery, and track cycling during this time. Oh yeah, and by the way, here's an interesting fact for you guys who don't know. The guy who actually did this carving, he actually also was the one who worked on Mount Rushmore. And the project to actually get this carving was actually done by a member of the United Daughters of Confederacy. And basically that organization was descendants of the Confederate Civil War soldiers. So there's that. Now, the sculpture itself was carved 42 feet deep into the mountain. It measures 9 feet in height and 58 meters in width and lies 400 feet above the ground as well. So yeah, this is a bit about Stone Mountain. It's actually quite a really interesting history about that mountain. But we'll be exploring Stone Mountain for a sec and get to explore the mountain. So I hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. I think I've been working on this for the past couple of days. For me, I've been just trying to work on all the stuff needed to get done for today's flight. Mainly getting all the notes ready. And I'm prepared for next week's journey into Japan for the second week. So this will be pretty fun. So let's explore Stone Mountain for a bit. There it is right in front of us. I mean, you basically can't miss it. It sticks like a sore thumb out here in Atlanta. It sticks up. Yeah, the rock is very visible. I mean, according to my research, it's around 514 meters high, or 1,686 feet. So yeah, compared to the rest of Atlanta, this thing actually kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. It's pretty crazy. But I will take a picture of Stone Mountain since it is such a visible attraction. Now, after we visit the mountain, we'll actually just follow the name tags, because there's Hartsfield Jackson. This especially gets really busy during the Prime Depression. Here it is. Here it is, Stone Mountain. This is the most visible landmark here down in Atlanta. So here it is. So here it is, Stone Mountain. I'm hoping we can actually land on top of the mountain. I mean, that would give us quite a view. So there it is. Now see down here. So right here is where the Confederate Memorial thing is actually carved. In fact, we can go ahead and take a closer look at that. See? There it is. So there is the Confederate Memorial. Right here. Now, this has always been quite the controversial sort of thing. So here's the Confederate Memorial featuring Stonewall Jackson, Jefferson Davis, and Robert E. Lee. Yeah, the mural faces north. Yeah, ironically, you would think you would want your mural to face south, obviously, because, you know, the southern U.S. and all that. But let's see if we can actually land on top of the mountain, actually. So now, let's... And let's go ahead and land on top of Stone Mountain. There. We land on Stone Mountain, so you can actually get a pretty good view out of it. There we go, guys. And welcome to Stone Mountain. More specifically, welcome to the top of Stone Mountain. So up here, see these buildings on top of it? Well, the buildings on top of it are actually, this is actually, you get up here through the cable car, so you can actually take a cable car service on top of Stone Mountain. And right next to it is the town, literally known as Stone Mountain. So there it is, that. So you guys can just check out the view from Stone Mountain. Pretty crazy stuff. And look at that. There's downtown Atlanta. You know, it's an active, visible, and moral defiance display to the Northerners. Yeah, I bet that's what it is. Hey, Sergeant Staff. Great to have you here. I hope you get back to streaming soon, but Sergeant Staff does stream here on Twitch. He usually does a lot of the VA flights. I believe with Captain Seppi's Alaskan Bush Company, I know he has done that. Not sure if it has trees in real life. I guess not. From the pictures, there is trees that grow on top of the mountain. So yes, doing one now, LOL. No worries. It actually has trees. It's usually on the sides of the mountains, but yes, it does have trees up there in real life. So we're gonna go ahead and take back off, obviously. So we're gonna go take back off. 13, and we're back off. Just on approach to Papa Alpha Bravo India. Nice. Oh, you're coming in. Oh, that's awesome, Costella. So, oh, Valdez. Yeah, that's right. Valdez is one of the new handcrafted airports. So it's great that Valdez finally got an airport. Something interesting about Valdez Airport, it's actually known for being the STOL competition. You see, it's where the major STOL competition is at, the Valdez STOL. And basically, for those who don't know, the STOL competition is all about getting the shortest landings you can get. And it basically is for short takeoff and landing. So if you like STOL stuff, I mean, Valdez is definitely the place. So now that we talk about Valdez, now let's go head to the next part of our slideshow. Let's learn about Atlanta itself. Well, for one, Atlanta is the capital of the populous city in Georgia by a pretty wide margin. It has a population within city limits of 498,715 people. Its metropolitan area is much larger, hosting over 6 million people, making it the 8th largest metropolitan area in the U.S. Now, Atlanta was originally a terminus for many of the railroads, particularly its major state-sponsored railroad, including the Western Atlantic Railroad. During the American Civil War, it was a strategically important role of the Confederacy. But the thing that was most infamous was it was burnt to the ground by William T. Sherman. However, after the post-war period, it rebuilt dramatically. It became known as an industrial center and the unofficial capital of the new American South. It became a technology hub after World War II, and it was a major organizing center during the American Civil Rights Movement. With a GDP of $406 billion, Atlanta has the 10th largest economy among all cities in the U.S. And believe it or not, it's the 20th largest in the world of all cities. It has a diverse economy with sectors in transportation, aerospace, logistics, healthcare, news, media operations, film, television, and much more. So yeah, Atlanta's a very rich city. It's got a lot of things going for it. It's a diverse city. Yeah, if you go long, you're going to hit a tree. Absolutely. So, the history of Atlanta goes all the way back to, before the modern Atlanta came to patrician, it was actually belonging to the Creek and Cherokee tribes of Native Americans. This was inhabited. Then in 1813, the Creeks, who'd been recruited by the British to assist them in the war in 1812, attacked and burned down Fort Mims in southwest Alabama, and it broadened to become known as the Creek War. In response, the U.S. built a string of forts alongside the Ocmulgee and Chattahoochee rivers, including Fort Daniel. And then, when the Native Americans were removed from northern Georgia, the Creeks ceded the area that was now Metro Atlanta in 1821, and 4 months later, the Georgia Land Lottery Act created 5 new counties that would later become Atlanta. The first being DeKalb County, along with the forces of Henry, Fayette, and Gwinnett counties. So there's all that. In 1836, the Georgia Central Assembly voted to build the Western Atlantic Railroad as a link between Savannah and the Midwest. And eventually, with the railroad success, it actually made Atlanta a major terminus for all sorts of railroads. Not just that, but the first Georgia Railroad freight and passenger service from Augusta arrived in 1845, and the first hotel, Atlanta Hotel, was opened. And it quickly made Atlanta a major rail hub. As Atlanta has grown to 6,000 residents and built a bank, daily newspaper, and all that by 1855. However, with the rise of the Confederacy, it became a major manufacturing center, and it served as an important rail hub during the Civil War, mainly because it's one of the few areas where they can transport supplies for the Confederacy. In 1864, it became the target of a major Union invasion, which was actually ironically the setting of the 1939 film Gone with the Wind. The area covered by Atlanta was the site of several major battles, including the Battle of Peachtree Creek, the Battle of Atlanta, and the Battle of Urza Church. However, eventually, the city was burned to the ground by Sherman's March to the Sea, and it was a critical point in the Civil War, as the fall of Atlanta gave a lot of confidence to the Northerners, and this battle led to the re-election of Lincoln and surrender of the Confederacy. After Atlanta was burnt, post-war, it was gradually rebuilt, and population grew rapidly in the war. Thus, it actually led to the city symbol being the phoenix, which, I mean, is an incredibly fitting to the city of Atlanta, as it grew like a phoenix. Now, initially, the food supplies were quite erratic due to poor harvest, but later on, with it, the city quickly regrew back. It also became a center of black education, as Atlanta University was established in 1865, and established a lot of other black universities as well. Henry W. Grady said that he wanted to promote Atlanta as the New South, which meant a diversification of economy and shift from agriculture to a modern-day city. And one of his efforts was the creation of the Georgia School of Technology, which now became the Georgia Institute of Technology, aka Georgia Tech. In addition, Atlanta quickly expanded during the 1880s, and by 1880, Atlanta surpassed Savannah as Georgia's largest city. Now, obviously, Atlanta's had a lot of racial tensions grown at that time, especially because, you know, Reconstruction and all that. Due to Reconstruction, the whites used a variety of tactics, including militias and legislation, to reestablish local supremacy in the South. It started in 1877, and by the turn of the century, Georgia passed a variety of legislation that completely disenfranchised black people voting. In fact, not even college education men could actually vote. And that led to the rise of the Ku Klux Klan. And finally, around that time, also, Coca-Cola was actually invented. And it made Coca-Cola a massive company. In 1895, the Cotton States and International Exposition was held in Panama Park. And nearly 800,000 people attended the event to promote products. Then in 1906, there was the 1906 massacre. And due to that massacre, Jim Crow laws were passed in Swiss secession, which basically segregated between blacks and whites. Which, I mean, separate but equal, I mean, it's anything but equal, if you ask me. Hey, Sergeant Snap, good to see you. Lazy, I didn't know the channel would be so informative. Yeah, first time chat to Lazy T, great to have you here. Yes, research is a big part of my streams, Lazy T. Yeah, better history than the History Channel, I really appreciate it. So yeah, if you like what you see, don't be afraid to smash that follow button if you like what you're seeing. Now, in 1914, Atlanta quickly grew. And in 1917, the Atlanta Fire happened. The Great Atlanta Fire of 1970 destroyed nearly almost 2,000 buildings, mostly wooden. Hey, thank you for the follow, Lazy T420. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I do these slideshows every single stream. So if you like what you see, that'd be perfect. So when the Great Depression hit Atlanta in the 30s, the city near bankruptcy, and Coca-Cola actually had to bail out the city. Yes, I mean, it's weird to have the entire company of Coca-Cola bail out an entire city. It's pretty crazy. In 1939, Atlanta hosted the premiere of the legendary film Gone with the Wind, which, by the way, is, if you count for inflation, it's still the highest grossing film of all time. And finally, with the World War II era, soldiers from Southeast U.S. trained at McPherson during the Second World War. It also did the Bell Aircraft Factory at Marietta. And shortly after the war, the CDC was founded in Atlanta to the malaria control. In the 1950s as well, mainly with the Brown vs. Board of Education, it ushered in the civil rights movement, and one of those people that really grew was none other than Martin Luther King himself, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. And in the 1960s, Atlanta became a major organized center of the civil rights movement. Like Martin Luther King and students from its historically black colleges played a huge role in the leadership of the civil rights movement. And thanks to all the work from Martin Luther King, it drew attention to a lot of the efforts, and it led to support from John F. Kennedy. And as a result, desegregation came in many different stages, starting with the buses and trolley buses in 1959, Bridges Department Store at 61, and all the movie theaters. And in 1961, Mayor Ivan Allen Jr. became one of the few white Southern to support desegregation. But again, it occurred in stages between 1961 and 1973, continuing the stages of all that. African Americans became a majority by 1970 and elected its first African American mayor, Maynard Jackson, in 1973. Then about 20 years later, in 1990, Atlanta was selected for the 1996 Olympic Games, which was held here in the U.S. And Atlanta proved to be quite successful. And then in 2008, a tornado ripped through downtown Atlanta, the first since 1880. And that would be the historical stuff for Atlanta. Yeah, back in the day, Coca-Cola was a huge global phenomenon. Not much competition except the Pepsi and Dr. Pepper Coke. Yes, very much so. Very, very much so. So that's going to be the history of Atlanta. Kind of, I'm not really a history guy. Pressed. I really appreciate it, Lazy T. I really appreciate you liking the history. So, you see all of those name tags, guys. We're at Hartsfield Jackson, actually. AKA KATL, Kilo Alpha Tango Lima. So we're actually gonna make a stop here and tour around the airport for a bit. So we're gonna see everything about Hartsfield Jackson. Let me go ahead and give you some tidbits about Hartsfield Jackson. It is the main international airport serving Atlanta. It's the main international airport serving Atlanta. It's been the world's busiest airport since 1998. It only lost that spot in 2020 due to COVID. And it was lost to Hong Kong. It was lost to Shanghai, but has since been regained. It is the primary hub for Delta Airlines, one of the oldest airlines still in operation and one of the world's largest fleets. It covers 4,700 acres of land with 5 parallel runways. It actually opened all the way back on September 15, 1926. In addition to being for Delta, it's also the focus city for Frontier Airlines and Southwest. And it's been hosting tons of flights. And by the way, a really good website is Flight Connections, and it shows all the flights they've done for Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson. So they do tons of flights with Delta. They fly all around the world with Atlanta. I mean, not just the U.S., they fly to Latin America, like in Mexico, Guatemala. They've flown to South America, like Rio de Janeiro, Buenos Aires, Santiago. They've flown into Europe. Yes, they've done flights into Europe and transatlantic. Dublin, London, Madrid, Rome. They do flights to the Middle East and Dubai and Istanbul. Heck, they've even done flights across the Pacific Ocean to places like Tokyo and Seoul. But the longest flight they've done is to Africa. That's because their longest flight is between Atlanta to Johannesburg in South Africa. Around 7,000 nautical miles. It's pretty insane as well. So we're going to go ahead and make our landing here at Hartsfield Jackson, and we're going to tour around the airport for a bit. Because remember, this is now a handcrafted airport. It's a handcrafted airport ever since World Update 2. So I feel like this would be a great place to check out Hartsfield Jackson. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you like what you see, I have a Discord. You can find all the slideshows for the streams. You can find all the upcoming flight plans and everything on my Discord. I'm going to be working on much more. In addition to my Sunday City Tour streams, I also do the Firefly Air Journeys as well. So I do lots of flights for the virtual airline Firefly Air. This week we'll be touring Japan. I mean, you're all more than welcome to join on the Japan flights. You made it to Allen Air Force Base and now offloading. Nice, Sergeant Staff. Nicely done. Now you're heading back to PFA. Awesome. So here it is. This is Hartsfield Jackson International. So we're going to land on runway 26 right, since it'll get us some parking, and we can tour around the airport for a bit. Because a lot of people I know a lot of people, when they fly to Hartsfield Jackson to Sim, they usually take one of the big airliners, which, hey, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it is the world's busy airport. I mean, they do so many flights from here. It's actually insane how many people fly through Atlanta. But I mean, why not? It's in a great location. You get planes from all around the world. Well, it's really, really cool. So a bit of some information about Delta Airlines. I know I didn't put it in the notes, obviously. But Delta is one of the 4 major airlines of the U.S., alongside American, United, and Southwest. It's one of the oldest still in operation. It was founded in 1925 and it commenced its first operations in 1929. It serves 5,400 flights daily, around 325 destinations in 52 countries on 6 continents. The only one they haven't covered is Australia. Actually, Delta has done flights in Australia. The only one they haven't done is Antarctica. In terms of airlines, it's ranked second among the world's largest airlines in scheduled passengers carried, revenue, and fleet size. Yes, Delta has a massive fleet, and in fact, it's even ranked 69th on the Fortune 500. Nice. Delta has now hubs in Atlanta, Boston, Detroit, LA, Minneapolis, New York, JFK, Salt Lake City, and Seattle. Their current fleet consists of 877 aircraft. They consist of a mix between Boeings and Airbuses. Some of them include the A321neo, the A350-900 model. They're the largest operator of the Boeing 757-200 model. They also fly the Boeing 767, the largest operator of the Boeing 76. And they're retiring their Boeing 717 planes as well by 2025. So yeah, they have lots of planes, and their history was diverse. You had DC-3s, you had DC-6s, Boeing 74s, the 777, the Douglas DC-10, the Lockheed TriStar, the Mad Dog MD-80s. I mean, they had all sorts of different planes that Delta operated over the past, for their long history. They got so many planes they operated. I'm still learning to fly. No worries, lazy. No worries if you're still new. I mean, I used to be in the same boat a long time ago. I think taking flying will take some bit of training and skill. It takes a bit of training, but training is the most important thing to learn. So we're going to go ahead and make a pit stop. Here, I know it wouldn't be very kind, but we're going to park it in the infield. I mean, the runways here in Atlanta are so long. We're going to go ahead and... Okay, let's get this park in the grass. And let's explore Hartsfield-Jackson for a bit. So this is Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Hey, Captain Seppi! Captain Seppi, it's been a while. How have you been, my friend? By the way, Captain Seppi is a really cool guy. He's called the Beard. I know he hasn't streamed in a long time, but I'm still going to give Seppi a shout-out. He's earned a shout-out, so... I hope you're doing well, my friend. So, I'm doing one of my city tours of Atlanta, Seppi. So, let's go visit Hartsfield-Jackson for a little bit. Let's explore this airport. So right here, these big old terminals. So these terminals here are all the different terminals for the airliners. These include like different terminals. So you have some bigger ones here. So you can definitely see some of the geekness. These are all different terminals here in Hartsfield-Jackson. This is where the international airport area is located. So all of these terminals, I mean, that's just to hold all sorts of planes. This one here is the main international airport area. This is the international terminal right over here. So you see all the international terminals. You reach there through the highway. There's the control tower up here. There's the control tower. I've been doing great. Hope you're doing well. I will be returning to streaming next week. Awesome. That's awesome news you're returning, Seppi. I hope to catch some of your streams. I don't know if I'm going to be gone to my vacation, but I hope to check by. This here is this is actually their tech operations here at Delta. So you can definitely see all the images, which looks quite nice. So here's the Delta Tech Ops, and this is some of their aerospace systems. I mean, this is nice. And mind you, this is free. We're going to explore quite a bit more. So in the south part of the airport is the main Delta Airlines base, but this is where all the cargo stuff's at. So here's Delta Airlines cargo. And in this area, this contains DHL, Lufthansa cargo, Alaska Air cargo from Alaska, in the Alliance Ground International Terminal. There's the VOR DME station. That is your VOR station right here. Hey, Tissaba Gaming, first time chat, Tissaba. Great to have you here. I've heard you just got back streaming, Tissaba. I hope you're doing well, guys. You should check out Tissaba Gaming. I know he's got 29 followers. I mean, 39, I mean. But I hope you guys can help him push past 50, so give him some support. So here's Tissaba Gaming. This area here is the domestic terminal. This is where, this is for the domestic airport. This is for all the domestic flights from Atlanta. And by the way, the domestic terminal is where a lot of Delta's flights. This is for a lot of the U.S. trips. The one on this side is for the larger international flights. And trust me, they fly all over the place from Atlanta. It's pretty crazy. I mean, for me, for a solo, this looks awesome. You see all the different parking in the cars as well. I mean, this looks really nice. This looks like a great handcrafted airport from Asobo. I know they may not be, let's say, some of the payware stuff, fine. But for freeware, this is really good. Now we're going up to the upper part of this one. Now we're getting to the last part. Now, this part up here contains some of the ground support areas from GAT Airline. They also have the FedEx Shipping Center. But there's up here to the north right is some of the other cargo stuff, mainly from Southwest and American Airlines. And this is the Southwest Airlines hub. Now, let me show you something else. Now, let's go. We're going to get back in the air. Now for one final thing. Let's get back in the air for a sec. So here's DHL. Right here. Let's go ahead and let's get parking. If we can find an open space somewhere to park. Careful, careful, Viper, don't. Cars. Yeah, it's a bit rough, but I mean, okay, guys. So this area now, right here. So this guys here is actually it's actually an aviation museum. This particular one is the Delta Flight Museum, here at Hartsville-Jackson. So what is the Delta Flight Museum, you may ask? Well, it is an air museum dedicated to all things Delta Airlines. Now, this Delta Flight Museum was actually quite a recent museum. This museum was added all the way back in 1995, but it didn't become open to the public until 2014. It explores the history and story of Delta Aviation and the future of flight. Over 40 airliners can be found in the museum's collection exhibitions. Some of the more well-known aircrafts in their collection include the Delta Ship 41, their first of the DC-3s. There's a Travel Air 600, the first passenger aircraft. It's separated in two hangars. Hangar 1 features all those planes, and then hangar number 2 is the jet era stuff. They include their most famous exhibit, the Spirit of Delta, which was their first Boeing 7600-200 model. And then the outdoor collection. Now this is the outdoor collection. So the outdoor collection features quite a few. But their most famous is this big bird. This big bird is their 747-200 model Delta Ship 6301 or Nickel 661 Uniform Sierra. And this was their first ever 747-200 model Boeing. This was originally used for flight testing by Boeing. It was delivered to Northwest Airlines, and then when Northwest merged with Delta, it became part of the Delta fleet. It continued a lot of passenger operations until 2015 when it was retired, and it logged over 61 million miles of flight during its lifetime. Now, this flare became known as the 747 experience, and you get to actually enter the plane. You get to see the first class cabin that's still been intact, the economy section, which has been converted to exhibition space. There's even a cargo holding area part of it. So you can look down from the upper deck to the lower deck, and you can see all sorts of stuff as well. In addition to this as well, to our right is a Boeing 757. This one here it's actually painted in the 1980s Delta livery as N608DA, ship number 608, manufactured in 1985. So that is their 757. I know Bluebird Simulations is going to add this to the simulator. Well, yeah, that's freeware from the World Update. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like, I know people give us a lot of crap, but this is really cool. And this one here is actually a DC-9 from McDonnell Douglas, DC-9. This one was built in 1975. Now, I'm hoping this year I get to go visit the museum during this time. I'm hoping I can visit the museum when I go down this year from Georgia, from Blue Ridge to Panama City. I'm hoping I can visit here. I mean, it would be awesome to visit the airport. So yeah, this is really cool. Looks like I'm going to fly the 737 to Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta's a great airport to fly into the simulator. And look at this. Isn't that cool? I don't think we get anything to the hangar, though. No, it has a collision hitbox, but, I mean, this is cool. They got the Delta Flight Museum. And then around the area is the Delta HQ, which is right here. So this is really cool. So yeah, this is Delta Aviation HQ. This includes the administration building right here. And they also have a flight training center right over in this area. So there's the flight training center, in-flight training center, and there is the training OC3 center. So yeah, that is the complete Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, guys. So let's go ahead and get back into the cockpit. I hope you guys were impressed by this. And if I'm doing a good job, let me know if I'm doing a good job. I mean, this is pretty crazy. I mean, this is freeware. This is nice. Now, obviously, there's a payware version of this that might be a little more accurate. But I mean, but especially for Xbox that may not have it. No. Yeah, that's really impressive. Hartsfield-Jackson's really impressive. So yeah. Okay, we're done with Hartsfield-Jackson. We're going to be in Delta Flight Museum. We can finally move on to our next destination. You always do a fantastic job. Hey, Snackless Curveball. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the kindness, guys. I mean, I put a lot of work into all of this to prepare for. So next, we're going to be visiting Zoo Atlanta. Now, Zoo Atlanta has quite the interesting history. So back in the day, it was actually one of the older... Did you go by the new stadium? You mean, the new stadium for Mercedes-Benz? Not yet, Captain Seppi. We're getting to it later. Oh, it shows. Yeah. It does. So Zoo Atlanta, was actually founded in 1889. Now, this zoo, has quite a bit of history as well. For example, Zoo Atlanta, during the 1950s and 60s, grew to be quite the popular zoo. But in the 70s, it was actually ranked as one of the worst zoos. But thankfully, thanks to all the reforms done, it's now ranked as one of the top 10 zoos in the country. It's known for many exhibits, including the Westland gorillas, lots of amphibians and reptiles, but their most famous exhibit is their giant panda exhibit, as they're one of 3 institutions in the U.S. that currently house giant pandas, the other 2 being San Diego Zoo in San Diego, and then the National Zoo of Washington, D.C. So yeah, they're one of the 3 major zoos that actually have giant pandas. The first pandas arrived in 1999, and currently many of these pandas are now in China, in Chengdu. In addition to the giant pandas, they also participate in several international conservation initiatives, like the Asian turtle crisis and the global amphibian decline. So there it is as well. So after the giant panda, oh, you saw the pandas in the National Zoo. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, most people don't ever get to see giant pandas in the zoo. So that's a real treat to see giant pandas in their home habitat. Now about Atlanta, I've actually traveled down. I've always driven past Atlanta during my times near the city. I've always driven past the city, but I never visited downtown. I've only visited once, and that's when I went to the Georgia Aquarium and the World of Coca-Cola. I'm hoping to visit Atlanta again and visit the Delta Flight Museum. Hope to get pictures. I have to say, I appreciate the work you put in the streets, so I too want to say thank you and keep going. I appreciate the kind words, Zeppi, Lazy T, and Sergeant Staff. I really appreciate it. The support is really helpful for me because I want to make sure I continue putting out the best product I can. And continue doing what I'm doing right. I really appreciate it. Oh, Dragon Con. Ah, yes. Oh yeah, and there... Now to our right, I did put this in the notes, but this is actually the U.S. Penitentiary of Atlanta. So there's where all the convicts are at. In Atlanta. There's all the convicts. I'm trying to go figure out how to get to Houston. Yeah, Flight Sim Expo. I'm hoping to get to Houston too. So here it is. Downtown Atlanta is to our left. I left off. Hurry. Oh, there you are, Switzerland. There you are. So, yeah, Castell's with us today. Awesome. Yeah, Savage Cub's a good pick. You can do all the short takeoff stops in the Savage Cub as you could in the Blue Ultralight. And the visibility on the Cub is still really good. It's still quite good. So, here's downtown Atlanta. So, after we fly over the zoo, we're actually going to... So, here's the zoo down below. So here's the zoo. Here's all the zoo stuff is down below. So here's Zoo Atlanta, it's down below. So, unfortunately with all the trees, it's hard to see the giant panda exhibit. So now let's go to our next destination here. So let's actually go ahead and visit the stadium here. Now, here's something interesting. When they did photogrammetry for this place, I visited here during my baseball series back in the day. As a baseball stadium, this used to be called Turner Field. This was the home place of the Atlanta Braves. Now, it's changed a lot since the photogrammetry. You see, Turner Field is actually now known as Center Park Stadium. And this stadium actually has a really interesting history, by the way. Here, let me go ahead and send for a bit. Send. Okay, let's go here. So this is Center Park Stadium. Now, if you see in the simulator, have you done a tour of Ireland? Yes, Lazy T, I've done a tour of Ireland. In fact, here's this command. If you click the link, you can go back to all my streams and you can see my tour of Ireland on my YouTube. So, Center Park Stadium is currently now the home of the Georgia State University football program. But this stadium has actually got a really interesting history. You see, when the stadium was originally built, it originally opened in 1996 as the main Olympic stadium of the 1996 Summer Olympics. It used to have 85,000 people, and it was home to a lot of the athletic stuff, including the 200, 400 meter track events. And then after the events of the Olympics, the stadium was then converted into a baseball field. And it was Turner Field, and it was the home of the Atlanta Braves from 1997 all the way down to 2016. That stadium had a capacity of 49,000 people. So you can definitely see here, you can definitely see the baseball stadium part of it. It was lots of players played baseball here, including Chipper Jones, Greg Max has played here. Freddie Freeman, more recent years, Freddie Freeman played at the stadium. And then, here's something interesting. Then once the Braves left town, Georgia State University acquired the stadium and they converted it into a football stadium, which is seen here in the picture. So this stadium went through an interesting life. As an Olympic stadium, then as a baseball ballpark, and now as a football stadium. Pretty crazy. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff about Center Park Stadium. Quite an interesting history, that's for sure. So yeah, now the Braves' new ballpark, by the way, is all the way in Cobb County. It's all the way near Marietta. So let's go ahead and explore the ballpark a little bit more. So there it is, the ballpark. I used to go by and drive past Turner Field when I go down to Florida. I've always driven past Turner Field. So there's the ballpark. You got all the concourse areas and the little restaurant. Oh yeah, there's also another thing too. Now see the old baseball diamond back there. Let me go ahead and toss this for a sec. So if you wondered what this diamond here in all this, well, this diamond here used to be Fulton County Stadium. And this was not just the home of the Atlanta Braves, this was also the home of the Atlanta Falcons football team. And this stadium was most famous for being the site where Henry Aaron broke Babe Ruth's career home run record. And I believe the memorial to that wall, I believe, is still there. Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. So there's Fulton County, and right here in this statue was where Henry Aaron hit that home run. It's right where that spot. So that's pretty cool. They still actually have Oh, you changed your name to Eagle Costella. Nice. I'm gonna go watch that. Thanks, man. Keep up the good work. No worries. I really appreciate it. Then once we're gonna do that, we're gonna visit the Georgia State Capitol. It was the architecture and historically significant building in Atlanta. It's the primary place for the government of the Georgia government. Consisting of the lieutenant governor, officers of the governor, and the secretary of state on the second floor. The first floor of this building, this was mainly used for the Georgia State Senate and the House of Representatives. The two houses of the Georgia government are housed in the first floor, and they meet annually from January to April. So this is the Georgia State Capitol. So here it is. Here's the Georgia State Capitol. And it's full of glory. So here it is. So there's the Capitol. State Capitol of Georgia. And then from here, we're going to turn a little bit to the left. Now, we're going to actually turn straight up. This here. Right over here is the campus of Georgia State University. This is Georgia State. We're right in the campus. So the campus of Georgia State University is the main is the main public university here in Georgia. It's the more people attended Georgia State University than any other university here in Atlanta. It's actually pretty recent, from 1913. 54,000 students enrolled in Georgia State, the most of any institution here in Georgia. It has more than 250 programs in 100 different fields of study, around 10 colleges and schools. And their athletic teams are known as the Georgia State University Panthers. So that is Georgia State University. So there's Georgia State. Now let's go visit one of the stadiums here. Now, because they didn't change photogrammetry and I forgot to download the mod that lets you go check out Mercedes-Benz Stadium, we're actually going to check out the Georgia Dome. This used to be the main home of the Atlanta Falcons, as well as Georgia State football for quite a bit of time. This venue here, the Georgia Dome, used to host a capacity of around, the capacity was actually around 60,000 people. The Georgia Dome was not just home to just the Atlanta Falcons. The 25 versions of the Peach Bowl played here. 23 SEC title games, because this was the main venue for the SEC championship games. And more importantly, it was also where the 2 Super Bowls were held during the time. Basically, what the Super Bowl is, think of the Super Bowl as the big UEFA championship game of or the World Cup final, but just for America. So that is the Georgia Dome. And right next to it is Mercedes-Benz Stadium as well. The Dome, when it fully opened, it actually, believe it or not, Georgia Dome hosted over 70,000 people for their attendance. However, the Georgia Dome was kind of outdated, so they instead replaced the stadium with a brand new facility. And that is the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, opened in 2017 as the new home of not just the Atlanta Falcons, it's also the home of Atlanta's MLS team, Major League Soccer, Atlanta United FC. This stadium is actually really nice. For American football, it can host 71,000 people, and for soccer, or football, as you call it, association, normally it hosts 42,000 fans, but it can expand to its full capacity at 71,000. The record attendance for American football is 78,000 people. It costed $1.6 billion construction cost, developed by HOK. It features quite unique things, but the most notable feature is its retractable roof. It features a pendulum consisting of 8 translucent triangular panels. And it was designed by architect Bill Johnson and is inspired by the Roman Pantheon. It also features an Atlanta Falcons sculpture just outside the stadium as well. And it features some incredibly nice amenities as well, like high quality concessions and partnerships with Atlanta local restaurants. So that is going to be both the Georgia Dome and Mercedes-Benz Stadium in one fell swoop. We're going to turn right. We just went past the Georgia World Congress area. So this is the Georgia World Congress Center. This is the main convention center here in Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta's packed with lots of stuff. Pretty crazy, if you ask me. Hey, what's this? Oh, Country Flyer 2020 just followed the channel. Country Flyer, great to have you here. Thanks for the follow, man. I hope you're doing great. So this is I'll be back. No worries, Costello. This here is to our left. This is State Farm Arena. It's home to Atlanta's basketball team, the Atlanta Hawks. Here it is. It is the home of the Atlanta Hawks. It opened back in 1999 at the cost of $203.5 million. It seats up to 19,050 for basketball and 17,624 for ice hockey. Because this also used to be the home of the Atlanta Thrashers before they moved to Winnipeg in 2011. It features 92 luxury suites, 9 party suites, and 1,866 club seats. And for concerts, it can actually seat up to 21,000 people. So there is this here is the State Farm Arena, home of the Atlanta Hawks. Mainly the main player that plays in that arena is Trae Young, who's their superstar point guard. So right next to this is actually a pretty cool building here. And definitely something I do want to take a picture. Let's go ahead and show them the building. And right next to State Farm Arena is this building right here. So what is this building, you may ask? Well, this is the CNN studio. You see, CNN is a big part of Atlanta. It was actually founded in the city of Atlanta. This is their main studio, by the way. The main headroom are located in the building. It also houses the Omni Hotel. It features a large atrium court by local employees at State Farm Arena, Mercedes-Benz, and nearby conference attendees from the Georgia World Conference Center. So this is the CNN Center. So this is where all the CNN broadcasts are held here in the center. CNN's been a tenant here since 1987. But it's not the only tenant. It also includes Arby's, the Atlanta Police Department's a tenant, Starbucks, Subway, and the U.S. Postal Store are tenants in the center. It used to be called the Omni Complex, but CNN now been the main tenant. So yeah, that is CNN Center. Gotta take a picture of that. I mean, CNN is a big deal here in Atlanta. Then over here is the Skyview. This is the main Ferris wheel at the place. So here's Skyview Atlanta, the main Ferris wheel. Then we're getting to near the major areas here. So we're now entering the visitor center, Centennial Park. Let's go ahead and check it out. This place here is actually, it's still in construction in the sim, but this building here is the College Football Hall of Fame. You see, college football is a huge, if you ever live in the American South, collegiate football is a massive deal in the state of Georgia. It actually just opened in 2014. It is about 94,000 square feet dedicated to college football. Currently, 997 players and 217 coaches are enshrined here, representing 300 different schools of college football. They include people like Paul Bear Bryant of Alabama. They consist of Lou Holtz at Notre Dame University. In fact, the player with the school with the most Hall of Famers is Notre Dame with 46. As well. So there is there's the College Football Hall of Fame. It's safe to say it's huge everywhere. It is. Pretty much so. Now, next to this, we're gonna go ahead and turn left. I like this active pause because it's really helpful. It gets me in a good position to take the screenshots. Because there's going to be lots of screenshots on today's stream. But Atlanta's a major city. So this is where the major museums and rows are going to place right here. Okay, let's go ahead and showcase. So there are 3 museums in this area, 3 major attractions in this area. So this building here is the world famous Georgia Aquarium. This aquarium is very famous here in Atlanta, Georgia. This aquarium is one of the world's great aquariums. It hosts to hundreds of species and thousands of animals around 7 major galleries. And the aquarium has over 11 million gallons of water. When it was opened in 2005, it was the largest aquarium in the world until 2012, but it still remains the largest aquarium in the United States. This aquarium hosts many different specimens, but most famously, the whale shark, as it's the only institution in the U.S. to actually house the whale sharks. Now, a rule of thumb about this, as a biologist, the whale sharks they have here in the aquarium are not the full-grown adults. They actually get the juveniles, and you wonder why? Why not get the whale shark? Well, let me tell you, whale sharks are enormous fish. They can actually reach, they actually can reach to an enormous size. They're enormous. I mean, their mouths are huge, around a meter long. They can reach up to an average length of 48 feet, an average, but longer whale sharks can go up to 72 feet. And because of their large size, they need an enormous tank. But it also has specialized feed requirements since they need to eat plankton. So yeah, it's one of the rare few areas in the world to actually have the whale shark. In addition to the whale shark as well, Georgia Aquarium also has the belugas, California sea lions, bottlenose dolphins, and manta rays. So this is a very special aquarium. I love the aquarium when I visit here. I love seeing the whale shark in the big tank. So that's awesome to see. Now, right next door is the National Center of Civil and Human Rights. This was a bit of a more recent one, but it actually opened to the public in 2014. Discusses the achievements of the civil rights movement in the U.S. and human rights around the world. It hosts a number of exhibitions that not only tell the story of the civil rights movement in the U.S., but the contemporary human struggles from around the world. I mean, here in Michigan, yeah, exactly. But I especially say in the South for a lot of those in Europe, though it's big around the U.S. Exactly. Sorry, staff. But this is the National Center of Civil and Human Rights. And then next to it, we turn to our right. So this building here is the World of Coca-Cola. Yes, a museum dedicated to Coca-Cola. But actually there's a good reason for that, because Coca-Cola is a big part of Atlanta history. So and this was actually one of the places I visited when I was in Atlanta. It showcased the entirety history of the Coca-Cola company. It's a 20-acre complex. opened in 2007. It features all sorts of stuff. So it's around a 3-story pavilion. There's actually a couple tours. One tour starts in the second top floor, and it featured over 1,000 artifacts of Coca-Cola, including a replica 1930 soda fountain, video presentations about advertising, and a 10-minute film about Coca-Cola around the world. It also featured a spectacular fountain, and this is where visitors were allowed to sample various Coke products. Not only that, you not only get to taste the Coca-Cola from around the States, including the regional varieties, there's also a Taste of the World exhibit, which featured soft drinks from around the world. That previously was only available in several products. So I have several pictures of that as well, and I think that's really cool. I actually have Coca-Cola. So yeah, I think it's really cool they did a whole museum on Coca-Cola. It's cool. Years ago, there was a famous kid movie about a large fish and whale. In reality, yeah, Free Willy was the movie. It was Free Willy. Why does Coca-Cola even exist? Coca-Cola even exists because the creator of Coca-Cola back in the day, he created it because when Atlanta became a dry county, meaning they didn't really much alcohol, it was invented as a temperance drink to get people away from alcohol. It was invented by John Sith Pemberton in Atlanta. And then Pemberton sold the rights to Asa Briggs Chandler, and he became a global dominant brand for the 20th and 20th century. And the name itself actually came from two of its original ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts. Get it? Coca-Cola. And believe it or not, the formula of Coca-Cola is still a very closely guarded trade secret. And I mean, it is one of the biggest brands of food. Well, they do, and it's very popular still today. So that's why Coca-Cola became such a big brand. So alright, we're going to be, so there's the 3 main museums we're going to be visiting. So here's the main 3. We're going to see the rest of downtown Atlanta. Go. Pretty cool stuff. Underground, oh yeah, I forgot Underground Atlanta is around this area. Yeah, Underground Atlanta is like a multi-tiered area. In the South, Pepsi does not exist. Yeah, Pepsi is more of a northern thing. In the South, it's all Coca-Cola. I've known because like I said, I love doing these city tours. I think it's great that we get to learn all about the really cool little landmarks. So for the next place we're going to be visiting today, so next stop is we're going to be visiting the MLK Historic Park. So it's also known as the Martin Luther King Historical Park here. Now this area covers around 35 acres and includes several historical sites, including his boyhood home in Ebenezer Baptist Church, as well as the gravesite of Martin Luther King Jr., his wife, and his wife Coretta King. So here it is. This is the MLK historic site, right ahead of us. So this here is the MLK historic site, right here. And this also includes his boyhood home. As well, so here's the entirety of the. So here it is. Here's the MLK site, which is right here. So annual events celebrating MLK are very popular here at the historical site. So this thing was preserved back in historical register places in 1974. It included his church and all that. So much of the area was a landmark in 1977, and then the state continued to purchase more land to add on to the historic park. It also included the King Center North Style of Change as well, which is nearby the Ebenezer Baptist Church. Two vendors in the drink fridge. Ginger ale and cream soda. Ah, cool. So, and usually a lot of people who visit here include presidents, national, local politicians, and civil rights leaders always had speeches here. And then his boyhood home. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and let me actually get this. There it is. See this home right? It's this home right here. So this home right here is actually his birth home of Martin Luther King Jr. Now I know if you don't know if you're an American and don't know about Martin Luther King, he is very famous. But this is his birth home. It was built in 1895, east of Ebenezer Baptist Church. And his maternal grandparents bought the place. Reverend Adam Daniel Williams and his wife Jane Williams bought the house for $3,500 in 1909. In 1926, King's father married Alberta Williams, and they moved in the house where he was born in 1929. And the King family lived here until 1941 when it was converted into a two-family dwelling. The first level of the house included a parlor, study, dining room, kitchen, laundry, bedroom, and bathroom. The second level includes 4 bedrooms and a bathroom. And the visitor center will even let you do free tours of the house, led by the National Park Service Rangers, but the availability is quite limited as well. So there it is. So there is, oh yeah, there it is. So here's his birth house. Let me go ahead and get this. Now let's go ahead and get back to the air. Yeah, I gotta slip this one away. I only did that so I can get closer into the house. A little closer. So from here, we're going to be visiting our next stop. This is the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library Museum. This museum here features all things related to President Carter. Now, he's considered to be quite one of the biggest failures of president, though Jimmy Carter has been a truly great person. Though presidents, I don't want to get too much into politics, but didn't really do that well as president. Why not? No politics though. But this place is really cool. It features all things related to the Carter administration and his family, including his Nobel Peace Prize, a full-scale replica of the Oval Office, alongside the Resolute Desk, and it contains over 27 million pages of documents, 500,000 photos, and 40,000 different objects to be found here. So there is, here's the President Carter Museum and Library down below us. So here it is, the Jimmy Carter page and all that. So here it is. Now that once we get past the Flight Museum, Jimmy Carter Museum, we're going to now we're going to talk about the historic Fox Theater. So there's many Fox Theaters around the country, but I think the Atlanta one is the most famous because the Atlanta Fox Theater hosted many ballet series, along with the Summer Film Series, National Touring Companies, and more. But the Fox Theater was also where they hosted the legendary 1939 movie Gone with the Wind was shown here, and it became world famous because of the movie, and it became one of the finest movie theaters in all of Atlanta. And they still do many films and musicals still to this day. And lots of people have performed at the theater, including Elvis Presley performed at the Fox, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Marley performed here, Pearl Jam, the Allman Brothers, Ray Charles, Alan Jackson, Outkast visited here, and most recently, Monica in 2019 visited here. But yeah, lots of famous artists and musicians played here. In fact, this was also where Prince did his final performance before his death in April 21st, 2016. As well. So yeah, this area was, this theater is still really important as a movie palace and concert hall. Yeah, the administration of the U.S. presidents, trans engineers, Herbert Hoover's and Jeremy Carter's may be defined as an incomplete success. Yeah. Wait, oh, I think I flew past it. Yeah, sometimes when I talk, I forget to where I'm going. But here is the Georgia Tech campus, by the way. So, Georgia Tech. Now, before we get to theater, let's talk a bit about the Georgia Institute of Technology, aka Georgia Tech. Go Jackets. So Georgia Tech University is an institute of technology founded all the way back in 1885, with several campuses around Savannah, Metz, France, Athlone, Ireland, Shenzhen, China, and Singapore. It has greatly expanded from mechanical engineering to all things engineering. It became a trade school and now a technical institute. The student athletics teams are known as the Yellow Jackets, winning four national championships in football. It's world famous for its engineering program, and also for being really strict in admissions. Like, Georgia Tech is very selective when it comes to its admissions. But its most famous graduate program is absolutely their engineering. Their College of Engineering is pretty well known. It's been there since the 1880s, and it's all sorts of engineering, including biomedicals, electrical engineering. So pretty cool stuff. So there's many different alumni that came from Georgia Tech University. There is lots of graduates. They include astronauts, like Richard H. Truly came into his own, football coaches, like former Atlanta Mayor Ivan Mallon. Jimmy Carter is its most famous alumni. Is actually President Carter was its most famous alumni. Jimmy Carter was an alumni at Georgia Tech, and he was a president of the United States and Nobel Peace Prize. There's also lots of CEOs make their business here. James C. Robinson, the CEO and director of Coca-Cola. J.C. Garrett Jr., the CEO of Delta. And more. And lots of different athletes also did here too. Most famously being Calvin Johnson of the Detroit Lions. And baseball players like Nomar Garcia-Parra and Mark Teixeira. So yeah, lots of very famous people have went to school at Georgia Tech University. Pretty cool stuff. So let's go back, turn this around. So Georgia Tech is most famous for its football stadium. Let's see if we can find Bobby Dodd Stadium. Oh yeah, there's Bobby Dodd. So Bobby Dodd Stadium, very famous football facility here in Atlanta. Believe it or not, it's actually the oldest stadium in college football, at least for the FBS. It's the oldest one in the country for Division I FBS. Which, by the way, for guys who don't know, FBS is the top classification for Division I NCAA athletics. But Bobby Dodd's been around since 1913, and it's rudimentary form since 1905. The stadium itself can seat up to 55,000 people. But there's a lot of things that Bobby Dodd Stadium is very famous for. For one, Bobby Dodd Stadium is famous for its pregame introduction, most notably the Ramblin' Wreck, as well. It's also hosted the Peach Bowl for 3 seasons, which is an annual bowl game, and it even hosted the Atlanta United FC in 2017. And one of the most famous games, or infamous games, depending on who you ask, happened in 1916 when Georgia Tech, in the most lopsided game in American football history, Georgia Tech beat Cumberland College 222-0. Yes, that's a real score. Yes, 222-0. That is a real game. I am not kidding with you on this one. It's a real game, and that happened in the year 1916. I mean, it's pretty insane. So that is one of the most famous events. Now, here's something really cool about Georgia Tech football that a lot of people don't know about. In addition to the Yellow Jack mascot, however, the official mascot of the student body is actually a car. Yes, I'm not kidding. It's called the Ramblin' Wreck. And basically, the Ramblin' Wreck is a 1930 Ford Model A sports coupe, and it's been carefully maintained still to this day in 2022. And it is a great tradition here at Georgia Tech. And has been featured all over the Ramblin' Wreck. So pretty cool stuff about Georgia Tech football. So yeah, that's Bobby Dodd Stadium, longtime home of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And then from here we're going to be visiting. We're going to visit quite a few of the stadium. So we're going to visit the campus. This is the campus of Georgia Tech. Here's the campus of Georgia Tech University. This is their baseball stadium here, home of the baseball program. Russ Chandler Stadium. So this is home to Georgia Tech baseball. And this here is McCamish Pavilion, home of the men and women's basketball programs played here at McCamish. It's been around since the 1930s, actually. It's actually a pretty old, somewhat of an older facility. But this is McCamish. So McCamish Pavilion's here. So it is. It's also been the home venue for the Indy Hawks for twice. Has been one of the homes here. Hey, it's good to have you here, Costella. Thank you for coming by, and see you later. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see that red building over there. Oh yeah, the red building. So this is McCamish Pavilion, home of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, with a capacity of 8,000 people. Oh yeah, right here, right next to it. I forgot. This is where ChargePoint Charging Station. Yes, this was where WWE was filmed. Ah, got it. That's a movie studio where I forgot. I didn't know about that. So there's McCamish Pavilion, home of the Georgia Tech basketball programs. I'm gonna take a screenshot of the rest. And here's the rest of campus. I usually post these on the Discord, guys. So definitely go ahead and check out the Discord. So definitely, if you guys like the content and follow it, please check out the Discord. I do lots of research and stuff here. And then from here, we're actually going to go ahead and visit Truist Park. Unfortunately, I forgot there's also a mod port to download for Truist Park, but I forgot to download it. My apology, guys. I'm pretty sorry. Let me go and respond. Okay, Seppi, I answered your DM, Seppi. If you in Discord. So the next place we're going to be visiting, we don't have very many other places we're going to visit here in Atlanta. So this one is Truist Park. Unfortunately, I don't have the add-on for it. So Truist Park is the current home of the Atlanta Braves. It's been their home since 2017. Yes, of the defending World Series champion Atlanta Braves. Yeah, defending champs. It was constructed in a public-private partnership with a budget of $622 million. They also built next to it an entertainment complex next to it. The stadium itself ended up costing $622 million, designed by Populous architect. Its seating capacity is 41,084 people, with the dimensions being left field 335 feet, 385 left center. Center field is 400 feet. Right center is 375 feet. In right field, 325. Now, I know I'm thinking, wait a minute. How come you're mentioning field dimensions, you may ask? Well, if you actually saw my bots for the baseball series, Play Ball, on my YouTube, you would notice that I talked about baseball having unusual dimensions because when they built the stadiums in the cities, they had to have unconventional dimensions. Oh, also, did you know, until 1996, Georgia Tech had a fully fledged nuclear reactor? Yes, that is actually a true fact. Yes, they actually did have that. That's pretty crazy, though, a fully fledged nuclear reactor. That's pretty funny. Now, this ballpark features quite a few features, mainly intimate configuration with seats very close to the field. It also features canopies to keep fans cool. A water feature featuring boulders and waterfalls known as Chattahoochee Falls. And its own monument garden on that. And, of course, a very intensive Wi-Fi network. In addition to baseball, they also hosted a college football game for Kennesaw State. And it's hosted quite a few concerts, most recently on June 16th, Def Leppard and Motley Crue did their tour, along with Poison and Joe Jett and the Blackhearts. Later this year, we're going to have the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Lady Gaga doing their tours here. Previously, Metallica did a stadium here with Volbeat and Avenged Sevenfold. So they did a few concerts here at Truist Park. But yeah, there's a lot of things about Atlanta that I think a lot of people don't know about. So we're entering now where Truist Park would be. Like I said earlier, I didn't have the add-on for the stadium. So there's quite a few areas. Now after this, we're going to be visiting Marietta. So Marietta County, Marietta, Georgia. We're actually going to visit what's next to it. It's actually an airfield. see this ground right here? This ground right here is where Truist Field is actually constructed. All the construction is where Truist Field is what would have been here. Actually no, this is where Truist Field would have been. Yeah, this is where Truist Field was constructed, right here. There's Truist Field. Now, there's actually a military base up here. This is actually a military base straight ahead. This is Dobbins Air Reserve Base. It's the main home of the 94th Airlift Wing of the Air Force Reserve Command. It's also in its fleet of C-130 Hercules, mighty flying transport planes. It's also the headquarters for the 22nd Air Force of the Air Force Reserve Command. It's also home to the Army Aviation Service Facility of the Georgia National Guard. There's two runways, which it shares with the National Guard Center. One is 1129, which is at 10,000 feet of concrete, and the other one is 110,290, and that's an asphalt runway. This was actually first built in 1941 as Rickenbacker Field. It was used during the Second World War for a lot of training in the South. After the war was over, it became home of their Georgia Air National Guard and Air Reserve units. Now, this place is actually quite busy because over 14,000 flight operations take place here annually, making this an extremely active facility with diverse air traffic operations from all branches of the military. And as a result, the ATC environment of this place also takes place within Marshall-Jackson, and this place is actually just as busy as many of the medium-sized commercial airports you can find around the country. I mean, that's pretty nuts, actually. Dobbins Air Reserve. Now, Dobbs was actually where this is where I took off in the baseball series. I landed here at Dobbs. So it's a place where I know pretty well. Here's Dobbs Air Reserve Base. And we're going to be visiting, next we're going to be flying over Marietta. We only got 3 more slides after this. So Marietta, Georgia is one of the suburbs here in Georgia. It's the county seat of Cobb County with a population of 62,000 people. Oh, that's cool, Captain Sippy. Yeah, I was wondering when someone's gonna do the sound alerts. So yeah, I actually have those sound alerts. I still need to adjust the volume of those though. But yeah, that's cool though. So Marietta is, the main thing about Marietta is where Lockheed does a lot of their factories, so it's a major industry here. It's also known for quite a few major hubs. Disney filmed scenes of the 1995 movie Gordy was filmed here. It's also home to the Marietta Museum of History. There are 6 historic districts, including Northwest Marietta, Whitlock Avenue, Washington Avenue, and Cherokee Streets. The visitor center is located in the historic train depot of Marietta. In addition, there's also the Marietta Museum of History. This museum includes the Strand Theater back in the old day for a lot of music concerts. And the History Museum features the Gone with the Wind Museum, and it features a collection of memorabilia from the book and the film related to Gone with the Wind. Some notable people here from Marietta, they include a very famous College Football Hall of Famer, professional wrestler Ronald Simmons. They include Frank Fryer, 14 Naval Governor of Guam in the Peruvian Navy. And Texas Tech head coach Chris Beard. We're some pretty famous people as well from Marietta, Georgia. So there is Marietta. I know we're supposed to be visiting Atlanta, but we're going to be visiting Marietta. So here is downtown Marietta. To our left is Marietta. So here's Marietta to our left. So yeah, I have sound alerts, which is pretty cool. Probably adjust the volume for that. I think it's a little loud. I probably need to adjust settings. Okay, I now saved it. So yeah, I have all sorts of alerts if you guys want to press them. So let's do this one. This one. Let's go ahead and play this one. Let's see.
Holy cow!
See, I have sound alerts. You can find them in my profile, but I got sound alerts now. Which, hey, it means I like them everyone else. So we got two more slides to cover. First is Kennesaw State University. You got two campuses, one in Kennesaw and the other is in Marietta. 500 acres of land. It was founded in 1963. It has multiple academic programs in business, education, engineering, nursing, physical sciences, and more. Their athletic programs are known as the Kennesaw State Owls. Kennesaw State has gotten some interesting alumni. So some notable alumni include the chief staff of the president, for President Trump, Nick Ayers. Then we actually have the host of Extreme Makeover, Ty Pennington. He attended college here. And of course, the last major person is going to be finally movie actress Maisie LeClain is one of the other movie actress. So that is so Kennesaw State will be ahead of us. So there's Kennesaw State University. So here's Kennesaw State. Yeah, I have lots of different sound alerts. You can press on my thing. I got lots of different themes, some pretty fun themes. Yeah, Kentucky Derby theme. Because when you're from Louisville, you have to play the Kentucky Derby theme. So yeah, don't be afraid to play the sound alert, guys. So there's Kennesaw State, and then to our left is our final destination. This is Cobb County International McCollum Field. It's a public airport, mainly for general aviation. Operates 24 hours a day, and it's very popular with aerial tours. Due to the fact just less than 30 minutes away, you see the beautiful Appalachian Mountains. The Appalachian Range is a very, very awesome mountains. as well. So that is located in Kennesaw. Around 358 aircraft are based here, mainly single-engine and multi-engine planes, along with 39 jets and 13 helicopters. There's one runway, which is around 6,305 feet. And it is actually designated as a reliever airport to not just Hartsfield-Jackson, but also DeKalb Peachtree Airport. And of all airports in Georgia, it is the third most trafficked airport in the state, with an average of 475 takeoffs and landings each day. So yeah, this is actually a pretty important airport here in the state of Georgia. So guys, we're going to go ahead and make our final landing for the day. And then we're going to see who we're going to raid today. There's going to be some pretty interesting people we can raid today. Thank you guys so much for coming to me on today's trip. Thank you for all the new follows. I want to thank everyone here for all the new follows. I want to thank everyone for coming around and chatting the stream. I'm really happy the way the stream went today. It was fantastic. Less than 2 hours though. But we did the entire tour of Atlanta. We talked all about the history of the place, all the major landmarks here in the city of Atlanta. It's pretty awesome. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone here. So here it is. We're going to go ahead and make this landing. And that's our landing for today. So yeah, that's it guys. That is going to be for today's stream. Let's get this thing parked and we can get rolling to the credits. So there is going to be quite a few people we could raid today. So here it is, guys. As well, we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and find Spring Park. I guess we'll park right here for today, and we can call it a stream. Just going to turn off the second bits. So that's it, guys. And that is how we're going to wrap up today's flight. Man, this was a fantastic flight, guys. I gotta say so myself. What a great stream. Awesome stream, Viper. I really appreciate it, Captain Seppi. I appreciate the positive comments. So, guys, what a great trip. We had a fantastic flight through Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta definitely is a really awesome place. I mean, it's a mix between the modern South and the old. We get to visit all the really cool historical stuff as well. So, guys, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone. So, for the next week of streams, on Wednesday, we will be doing leg 2 of our flight through Japan. We're going to be doing leg number 2 of the Japanese tour. I'll post the details for the flight plan on my Discord. And make sure you guys check out the Discord. And then Sunday stream next Sunday. I'm gonna let you know about this. If I do be on the cruise, I won't be streaming for the entirety of the week after this week. That means no stream next Sunday, next Wednesday, and next Wednesday, and the Wednesday afterwards. However, if I don't end up going on the cruise due to events with the family, I'll just be doing I'll just continue my normal programming. So I'll let you guys know in the Discord. So guys, thank you so much. Before we're going to be going, we're going to be raiding someone new today. We're actually going to raid Nomad Aviator today. Now, Nomad Aviator did follow the channel yesterday, but for guys who don't know, Nomad Aviator, he currently does ATC work. In real life, he actually works at Toronto Pearson, but he also does airliner flights too, and he makes some really good streams. He did an awesome A320 stream from Orlando, checking all the failures. So guys, I hope you guys join me with the raid, and let's go visit Nomad Aviator and tell him and say hello. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Take care, everyone, and see you on Wednesday. Fight for Strike 95 will be signing off.